Hello everyone, my name is Kimberly Drake, and for my final project I chose to look into the best ways to communicate in the world of marketing. I also have included in my attachment a Prezi link for you to interact with. It's more of a visual representation of this presentation, so feel free to take a look at that. It's in the content body of this discussion post. So let's get into it. First, I chose to interview Don Stanley. He is the owner of 3 Rhino Media. It's a marketing and communication company right here in Wisconsin. He's also a professor at UW-Madison, and below is a link to his website if you'd like to find out a little bit more about him, who he is, what he has done, and some of the clients and personnel he has worked with. I personally chose to work with Don Stanley and to interview him because he was a great role model for me when I was attending UW-Madison for my bachelor's. He taught me to be a lifelong learner, and this was something I always admired. He is also a business owner and works in the field of marketing, and I too work in the world of marketing, as you all may know from the discussion post this course. So this was a great avenue for me to explore further. A key takeaway from this final project was that social media is key. This is something that's heavily explored whether it's in the professional side or the personal side, and these professional and personal sides are both intertwined and mixed. And also, the field of marketing is constantly evolving at breakneck speeds. It's critical to be a learner and to keep up with the changes in the field. And it's important to pay attention to these factors listed below because some companies can't utilize paid marketing, boosting posts, or other features to be able to generate business and more leads for their company because they do have limited resources and other types of constraints that hold them back from exploring these options further. I do want to touch on one quick thing here, and that's I did not choose to look into the platform LinkedIn. Even though this was mentioned in my interview with Don Stanley, I chose not to look into this because there is already a preconceived notion that this platform and site is very business professional and it's a networking site. While both of these areas are true, I wanted to express that the tone of LinkedIn is meant to contain professional content and for users to display a certain sense of etiquette, and I just wanted to steer away from this because of the preconceived notion that's already been formed. Looking at the next area in my interview, I learned many of the platforms used today are still social media. It seems weird growing up in the beginning stages of DSL and high-speed internet that social media is still relevant, but after hearing from Don Stanley, these platforms are definitely here to stay. The growing influence and involvement on each of these platforms speaks volumes. Many of these platforms have been around for a while, and if you think about it, Facebook was founded in 2004, Twitter was founded back in 2006, and Slack is a newer platform that was founded in 2013. But all of these platforms have one thing in common. They allow users, professionals, and marketers to connect with one another. Don Stanley mentioned that many of these platforms are highly used in the world of marketing because they start connections, and once a relationship is established online, they then take their communication to other areas like email, Skype, a phone call, or even an in-person meeting. Social media is great because it allows you to reach out to people or connect with others based on your established connections without having to physically get in a vehicle or fly to meet someone somewhere. They are great starter conversations, according to Don, and platforms like Slack are very effective to establish relationships, and many companies use this platform internally to keep track of data, to see what's going on, to track conversations, and to share documents. Many of the tools that contain video are great for meetings and will stick around, and tools like Slack are definitely here to stay. It's similar to a virtual classroom. You download the app or you go online, and once you are on the site, you are plugged into your classroom. The other types of platforms used in the field of marketing and communications are information solutions. These are platforms that are commonly referred to as marketing deliverables, and they are standardized in format, they contain some type of structure, they are free of grammatical errors, they're professionally designed, and they address a certain subject area and appeal to a certain type of audience. In the next slide here, I will show you a few examples of these information solutions and what they are mostly used for. In this slide, we will touch on 3 different examples of information solutions. These documents contain very little jargon and how they are meant to talk directly to an audience. In class, we discovered how there can be different brochures marketing the same product but be completely different from one another to appeal to different audiences. This tactic is commonly used in the marketing profession, and it's about being able to catch your target audience's attention in the span of 3 to 4 seconds. Some of these examples have to play with contrast, repetition, and scale to catch a viewer's attention very quickly. These features are all a part of information solutions. In the first example, we will look at a brochure. A brochure can be in a trifold format, and that's probably what most of you are used to. Brochures are utilized as leave-behinds for sales reps on their appointments to provide their clients with more information before a sale is made. The next example we will look at are reports. Reports are used as a way to show tangible results. These documents are highly professional, they look crisp and clean with no grammatical errors, and they are more visual with graphs or charts to explain some of the results that were analyzed. In the last example, we will look at white papers, and these are frequently used to entice a consumer. These again are professional, they're crisp, clean, and they say everything there is about a plan or service. They provide you with information, and they can be used in corporate meetings with the company's information correctly branded and, of course, free of grammatical errors. Throughout the final presentation and course, I learned that you need to be concise, have an intended audience in mind at all times, and to make sure your message makes sense throughout the process. If you focus on the wrong item or say something the wrong way, you can completely misguide your audience and you can be labeled unreputable, which is not something you want to shoot for. For marketing, I learned throughout the course and applying this to my own research and throughout the interview that marketing is content and information rich. Marketing is basically full of information, and it can be hard for a reader or viewer to discern what's legitimate and what's not. I also picked up on social media and how it's not always the most credible source. Many of my peers use social media for jargon, but there are also many companies, brands, and businesses who are utilizing these platforms as a way to get their information out there and to provide top-notch customer service. For example, think of Chipotle and how fast they are in responding to their customers online. Like every platform, connection, and network, marketing has its pitfalls. Some deem it to be invasive, personal, and that's why some users completely stay away from it. But others use it as a way to keep up with their friends and ideal companies to see what they are doing or what the latest trends are. In the world of marketing, it's challenging to focus on one thing, and overall, I had a difficult time using my own profession to be the primary focus. I thought this was challenging because there were so many avenues of marketing in relation to technical communication I could have chosen from, but I wanted my presentation, infographic, and final project to be informative and fun. Throughout the Prezi presentation, there are also different visual interactions for you to interact with and different medias for you to visually see what's going on. Again, this Prezi presentation is included in the content of my discussion board post, and I did include a visual in the visual Prezi presentation on the Slack platform and some more information on that if you are interested, so feel free to take a look at that. Also, I just want to thank you all for being great classmates and for your feedback and advice on each of the projects throughout the course. And thank you again for listening to my final presentation.